Hello everyone, happy Sunday. I'm Steve, Mark's at work, and this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. This is also Dandy. Dandy is my emotional support stuffed animal because Bandit is lukewarm about me. So today I want to talk about coping skills, particularly for people with mental health concerns or who just have a rough day once in a while, and particularly coping skills for those of us who may be a touch lazy. Now I'm not saying I'm lazy exactly, though that's probably a little true. I kind of mask it under the idea of being efficient. So I'm saying I'm trying to find the most efficient way to do something. It's crap. I'm trying to find the easiest way. So I have rough days like anybody else, even though, I have a mental health diagnosis, but you don't need to have one of those to have a rough day. So I want to talk to you about some of the coping skills I use to try to get through like a 24-hour period. I kind of wanted to touch on some of the things I do to prepare myself for what could be a rough day, because you never know. I don't ever know if one could strike as soon as I step my foot on the ground. So things I do to kind of prepare for it, things I do throughout the day to get through the day, and then things I do to recoup. So mornings are a nightmare for me, even on good days. I don't give myself too much time in the morning from when I wake up to when I need to be at work. We're going to talk about a work day because 5 out of 7 days I go to work. I have a hard time getting out of bed. I'll swing my legs over on the side of the bed and stare at the floor for a while. Everything seems insurmountable, from the idea of getting dressed to getting to the coffee pot to getting to work, all of it. So I tried the night before to make my mornings as easy as possible. And I mean easy. So I pick out all my work clothes the night before. They are laid within arm's reach of the bed. And that means slacks, shirt, socks, everything. The coffee, I set the timer the night before, so it's brewing by the time I get up. I don't take any meds. No, that's a lie. I do take meds in the morning. I keep those next to my chair, so they're one of the first things I see. I'm not good with, unexpected things in the morning, so I try to keep these things in the same place and as a routine. So I get up, I usually bring my clothes into the living room because Mark stays in bed because he sleeps later because he works second shift. And I'll get dressed, use the restroom, all that normal stuff, and then stare at the floor a little more, grab my coffee, sit there and drink it, watch a little bit of the news, have a few cigarettes, and then around 8:40, because my work starts at 9, I have this timed perfectly too. At 8:40 I have to put my shoes on. And I untie my shoes the night before because untying my shoes and retying them on some mornings is really overwhelming. Also, I have a backup shirt because whether I wear a button down, I usually wear polos because the idea of buttoning buttons some mornings is too overwhelming. So polo shirt it is. So I get all that stuff together. I always keep all the things I need to leave the house in the same place as a matter of routine. So my keys are always in the same place. My wallet's always in the same place. My phone is only one of a couple of places, usually when I'm home. I keep my headphones in the same place because I walk to work more often than not. It's about a 10-minute walk, which is the only exercise I get some days on a weekdays, is the 10 minutes to and from work. And everything's in its place, get it all together, my travel coffee mug, so I bring that with me, and I'm out the door. So that gets rid of my little anxieties about getting out of the house in the morning. So then I get to work. And then I'm there for 7.5 hours. So during the day, I need not only to keep busy, but to have things, and this goes into getting through some of the rougher parts of the day, things to look forward to. And this is something I've heard of from different self-help books and ways of thinking, and some other really popular book I read this out of. Having things to look forward to is important. So I do look forward to the morning coffee when I'm getting out of bed. That's not too much of a chore. I love coffee. Getting to work, I get to see my coworkers who are cool, so that's something to sort of look forward to. Getting through the morning, I look forward to lunch. Obviously, I'm working and keeping busy in the meantime, and sometimes that makes the day go faster. To the extent that I pray, the couple things I wish for during the day as I'm walking to work is being useful to other people, and please let the passage of time feel quick, especially on a rough morning. I don't want to feel bad and feel like the time is dragging. So if it feels like a rough morning, I'm like, let me just get lost in the work and have the time go by quick. What I look forward to at lunch is that I go over to a hospital that has a cafeteria that's catty corner to my work, and I get myself a diet soda. I intermittent fast, so I don't eat during the day, so I don't have lunch. But I get that, have my lunchtime smoke, and just kind of relax. And I spend lunch by myself. I don't go to the lunch table with my coworkers. That's a little bit of time for me to recharge. And then I go outside and have a smoke or two and chat with my boss and a couple other coworkers. Then we have the afternoon. Sometimes I'll call Mark at lunch. If it's a really rough day, I'll call Mark at lunch. I'll steal 10 minutes because just talking to him makes me feel better, especially if I'm amped up. Now, 2 or 3 days a week, I do have to travel. So sometimes that's something to look forward to, and sometimes that's something that creates a lot of anxiety. And when I say travel, I mean I'm on the road. I have a mobile job. I go to where the people I work with are. And the most I usually travel is in a day is often about 100 miles. It's often 50, sometimes it's 100. Sometimes it's 115 a day. And sometimes that's something to look forward to, because if it's a nice day, I get out of the office and I can stop at a rest stop and get another soda and get some fresh air and listen to music and stuff like that. Other days it's absolutely terrifying because I don't want to get stuck in traffic. I'm scared of the car the agency gave me to use because it's making a noise. So to kind of combat that, I have some medication that I usually take. I take it morning, afternoon, and night. I'll split it and take a little bit of it before I even get on the road. It's not in a dose that's going to make me dangerous to myself or anyone else, but it does take a little bit of the edge off. I also will do some self-talking, not the kind of self-talk where I'm chatting like I'm in the car, but a little bit. I'll find myself holding my breath when I drive if I get nervous, and also 2 and 10, I'm like right up here. So I will catch myself and just kind of say sternly, breathe, breathe. And then if I start breathing, catch my breath a little bit, few deep breaths, it'll kind of calm down. Singing along to the radio is a good distraction too. So even if I'm anxious, I'll start like, paparazzi, whatever the song is, and just try to keep up. And that'll kind of take that off. And then, again, it can be two sides of a coin, looking forward to or being anxious about meeting with the people I'm traveling to go see. Usually afterwards, I feel so much better. So I try to reiterate to myself, even if I'm anxious, you're going to feel better after this. This is a good thing. This is a way for you to stop thinking about yourself and put the focus on some other people. Helping people is another way that I cope. Putting the focus off myself and onto somebody else gets me out of the touch of self-centeredness, I'm being facetious, that I can slip into when I'm either depressed or anxious. So that takes me out of it. So that's something to look forward to. And then, of course, I get back in the office, and who doesn't look forward to quitting time? So that gets me out of that. Then I come home. And throughout the rest of the day, I'm coping with whatever feelings are left over from the workday, because sometimes it can be a little heavy. I work with folks in mental health, and not only is that challenging some days, but I have my own mental health issues, and if those collide or something feels a little too close to home, sometimes I have to mentally unpack that when I get home. So I come home, the work clothes come right off because it's like washing off the day. Put my play clothes on, usually it's like gym clothes, t-shirt and whatever, and pour myself a bubbly beverage, usually sparkling something, either it's soda, seltzer, whatever. Sit down and just chill for a minute. Now, if Mark's home, I chill for a minute. If I'm home alone, I chill for a minute. Say hello to Bandit. And then I do my little chores usually around the house. I get my meds ready for tomorrow. Again, so that's not something I have to think about. Actually, my meds I take at night, excuse me. So I get them ready for the evening. So at night, that's one less thing I have to worry about. I set the coffee. I'm home at 5 in the afternoon. I set the coffee for the next morning, so that's done. Make sure the dishes are put away, maybe prep dinner for tonight if I'm making it for just myself or Mark and myself. Then I'll hop in the shower and get out and pick out my work clothes for the next day. Then I usually get into filming and then putting all that stuff together. Then we check in, of course. And then I upload and whatever else I have to do, whether I have to leave the house to upload or I can just stay home. And then once that's all put together, then I can usually breathe. Then I have what I feel like is the rest of the evening to myself. And that's where I start to recharge. So that's where I'll start texting Mark. Maybe he can't text at work because he's not supposed to have his phone out. Well, I guess the restaurant policy is you're not supposed to. So maybe I get 2 texts in one of his 8-hour shifts, mostly like, how are you doing? Is it hot in the kitchen? Could you bring me home cigarettes or soda? Anything little stuff like that. But what I look forward to is the decompression time. Put on YouTube, catch up with whoever I haven't seen in a while, sit down and have my soda, bandits wandering around the house, and it's usually a few hours of just nothing. So once I get home, I stay active and get everything done and then just chill out. So that wraps up the evening, and then that evening, again, I have the meds already prepared, the coffee's done for tomorrow, the clothes are picked out, I turn down the bed for myself, in case Mark's going to be working late, because I'll go to bed before him if he gets home late. If he's home, we have our routine where we'll pop some popcorn, we'll watch a spooky show, one of those like sort of crappy but kind of interesting paranormal witness lockdown haunting type shows, and then we put our food together and then we go lay down and we eat and we go to bed. So, and then the day starts over again. So I have some little built-in things, stuff to look forward to, ways to troubleshoot rough mornings, because like I said, I don't know some days if it's going to be good or bad waking up, and ways to decompress. So that is how, I know that doesn't sound lazy, but the amount of prep I do can make the self-care and the coping seem a little more seamless. It's become lazy because I've done it like so often. But any one of those things would be helpful, because it seems lazy to be like, untie your shoes the night before. How lazy do you have to be to untie and tie your shoes in the morning? But for me, and that's partially true, but to me, on a rough morning, that could be the difference between wanting to go back to bed and, call out sick, or, pushing myself over the ledge to go face the day. There's mornings where you need half a reason to participate in life, especially if you're dealing with depression that morning. So those are my lazy man's coping skills. So thank you all for watching. Feel free to take any of those with you and glean from it what you may. The rest of my day today, as everything has been already done pretty early, is that I'm going to chill out, take it easy. I might do a little cooking later. That's the only thing I really haven't done. But to me, that's an unwinding activity, so that doesn't bother me at all. And then I'm going to lay low, and Mark will be home maybe a little early, maybe not, because the restaurant closes early on Sundays. And we'll see if we do our nighttime routine with some popcorn and a show, or if I'm going to go to bed early and watch infomercials, which I love. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and contact information is listed below. Thank you all for watching. Dandy thanks you too. And we'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Bye!